Brian's here. Hey, Brian. And then Alicia and Joe. Okay. Well, we've got a few more we're waiting on. So we'll give it a few.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
All right, good.
Thank y'all for joining.
You guys are all live, Mary Catherine.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, is that Jamie? Somebody. Oh, yeah, there's Jamie. He's on mute. We see you, Jamie. Good. That's good. We've got both applicants are here. So who are we missing, Alicia? John?
Yeah, we're missing John, Gloria, and David.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. You're right. We got a few more minutes. Hey, Brian, I think we have a quorum now, but we'll give it a few more minutes.
Okay. Yeah, we got like 2 minutes here. So.
Yeah. John had said he would join also. I don't see him yet, but we do have quorum if we need to start.
Okay. I'll just give it a minute to the 5:30 and we'll
Thank you.
let her go. Okay, Alicia, you ready? Actually, it's recording, isn't it, already? Okay. All right, well, it's 5:30. All right, well, I'd like to welcome everybody to tonight's Planning Department Planning Commission meeting for the City of Conway, South Carolina for January 7th, 2021. The first topic to discuss after the call to order is the election of officers. Mary Catherine?
I'll put it back to the board to make a motion. I'll just remind everyone, this is standard. Per the UDO, we're required to elect chairman and vice chairman at the first meeting of each calendar year.
Okay. And currently Brantley is the chair and I am vice chair right now. So
That's correct.
so I guess put it to the board. Does anybody have any motions to make about the president and vice chair of the planning commission?
This is David. I move to nominate Brantley chairman and Brian as vice chairman once again.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a first, a second.
Yep, Mark.
Is there any discussion on this? Okay. Then I guess the is all in favor? Thumbs up. Everybody remember where the thumbs up is? I don't. There it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have it? Thumbs up. All right. Motion carries. It's going to continue as it has been. Brantley will be chair and I will be vice chair for the next calendar year. All right. Moving along. The next is the approval movement of the minutes from December 1st of 2020. Did everybody have a chance to take a look? Is there any changes, omissions, things that need to be added at all? Does anybody see anything?
I read over them earlier and I think I'd like to approve them as presented. This is Mark.
Okay. So Mark
This-
has the first.
This is David. I'll second that.
David has a second. All in favor? Aye. Or thumbs up. Aye. Sorry. There we go. Seeing thumbs up. Mark, did you find it?
Got it.
All right. All right. With that carries. The next, we have a bunch of rezonings, a bunch that seem to be kind of in the same group today.
Hey, Dave.
But Mary Catherine, I'll let you go ahead and take it from here.
Sure. There we go. All right. The first request is for 6 parcels, but they're small parcels. They total 3/4 of an acre along Spivey Avenue and Church Street.
Mhm.
The request is from City of Conway residential to highway commercial. And Jamie McLean is the applicant for this request, and he's on the call also and can answer your specific questions. But the plan, as I understand it, he also owns the adjacent highway commercial
Mhm.
on Church Street, and they intend to combine these parcels. But as you can see via this plat, But the city of Conway doesn't allow split zone parcels. So with that, they are requesting to rezone these parcels to highway commercial so that they can combine them. As you can see on this plat, they are small, almost unbuildable, some of them. The 4 in the rear, front on a paper road. So there really no access to them now. So although they are zoned residential now, this will clean up some of the smaller unbuildable parcels. Jamie, is there anything you'd like to add to that? You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Sorry. I just wanted to reiterate what you said. We were just trying to get rid of all these different parcels and just kind of have one consolidated piece of land. And then that's when I turned the plat in. That's when they said that you couldn't have it. So I agree with Mary Catherine. Some of the lots in the back aren't even accessible except by that right of way, which is not even there. But I'll be happy to answer anybody's question, if you have any.
Yeah. I was looking at it earlier today. I know there's one little chunk down there that is not yours currently. Is that correct?
That is correct. There's one out parcel that fronts that side road. That's exactly right. That is not ours.
Okay. And at this point in time, you really don't have any future plans. You would like to have a commercial. I mean, right now it's just a big dirt lot as it is. So
that's exactly right. And we don't have any plans to do anything currently, but we're just like I say, we're trying to get rid of 9 tax bills and consolidate it to one.
Right.
But there's nothing really planned for it as of yet.
Okay. Mary Catherine, has there been any? I mean, I know this is kind of new and that we don't always get input from the public at this point, but you haven't heard anything, right?
I haven't yet, but as we do with these requests, the public hearing will be held at the first council meeting. So after the recommendation from Planning Commission, we will send letters to the adjacent property owners and post the property and put the ad in the paper. So we may hear from some folks after that's done, but we haven't. Any
concerns from staff or anyone within the police or fire department? I mean, I know the only accessibility you're going to have is from that access road at that corner on the property at this point. But does anybody really have any concerns? No, Alicia actually sent it out to our technical review committee, I think early this week for them to comment on, and we didn't get any feedback with any concerns. Future land use map does show these as residential. However, this is something, the future land use map, that's something, it's a plan, but sometimes that's why it needs to be updated every so often, because sometimes something comes forward that doesn't necessarily match the future land use map, but it makes sense. Especially with those small parcels and all that. I mean, there's not much you can do with it. Right.
We did speak to the adjacent landowners, a couple of them, when the surveyor was out there and I was out there with them, and we kind of told them what we were planning on doing, with just combining the parcels. So, and they didn't seem to have any trouble. And I gave them my business card and told them if they had any questions or anything to call me.
Good. And as you all know, when this is developed commercially, large landscape buffers will be required. To these. Well, it's in the corridor too, so it has to abide by all the corridor rules too. Correct. Yeah. There'll be design standards that we'll have to meet also. Yep. The building and the landscaping. Okay. Any discussion amongst the board? Do you all have any questions?
Nope, I don't.
Okay. If there's no discussion, does anybody have a motion they'd like to make in this matter?
This is David. I'll make a motion to approve the rezoning to highway commercial as presented.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Mark second. All right, all in favor? Thumbs up. Okay, that was the fastest thumbs up I think we've had so far. Good. All right. Motion carries.
Gloria, did we get a vote for Gloria? No.
Yes,
Okay, thank you, Gloria.
I didn't do a thumbs up. I'll do
You're
head.
fine. However you can do it. Thank you.
Thank
right.
you.
All right. Thanks,
welcome.
Jamie. Okay, and I'm ready to move on to the next one, Brian, if you're ready.
Yeah, I just have a question for you, Mary Catherine. The next five are really, they're all the same. And
They
they're
are. I was
all-
going to bulk them together if I.
That's what I was kind of wondering if we could do that because it's all the schools. And I guess maybe give us a little background on why they're actually still residential.
Right. And
not
Joe
already-
Birch, yes, Joe Birch is on the call. He is the planner for Horry County Schools, so he knows much more than I ever could about Horry County Schools and their planning. But my guess is schools are an allowed use in R1. So those parcels were probably residential before, and there was no need to rezone to do what they wanted to do and to build them. The only reason that they're bringing it forward now is for signage. There's rules within the institutional district that allow certain signage that the R1 doesn't. But it really, it helps us because our future land use map identifies these parcels as institutional. That's what the actual use is. So this brought forward, rather than seeking several variances for signage, which doesn't make sense, they chose to rezone them all to get that done. But again, it helps these parcels match the future land use map. But it's all the Horry County schools within the city. This first one is actually the Adult Education Center. That's the correct name for it, Joe?
Yes, it's the Conway Education Center.
Conway Education Center is the first one. And I know all of you are aware, familiar with all the parcels, but I'll go through them really quickly. The next is Whittemore on Rue Street, Whittemore Middle. And then Elm Street, Conway Middle.
Yep.
And then Snow Hill, Conway Elementary.
Mhm.
And then Homewood on Clemson Circle.
Right.
I'm sorry, not home. Yeah, Homewood. Sorry. Yeah, that's the last one. So that's it. Joe, is there anything you'd like to add? Did I cover everything?
You did. It's of all the schools in Conway city limits, these are the only ones that aren't institutional. Conway High, South Conway Elementary, the district office, and the new SOAR Academy we're building right now are all institutional. And at many of those sites, we've installed digital message boards. And there's a plan to go forward with some at the middle schools, district wide. And there could be a future of doing some at the elementaries and down the road if we get some funding. So those are allowed in institutional, and it makes sense that the schools should be institutional. And you're absolutely right, Mary Catherine. The reason they're residential is probably because they've always been residential, going back decades.
Forever.
And
Yeah.
there's never been really a need to rezone them.
Right.
But this makes it consistent across the board. And any additional new schools we would look at building or adding to the city we would come in with that request initially anyway. So it just makes sense.
And I just thought of this one, Joe, and I should have thought it before now. What about the PACE school? Is that at Horry County Schools, or is that
Which one?
the Motor Academy on
Yeah, that's
That's a charter school.
Charter School? Okay, all right.
But that's still a Horry County district school, right? It's a public school.
It's considered a public charter school. They get some funding through Horry County Schools, and we have some oversight, but we don't actually run it.
Gotcha.
Nor did
Thank
we.
you for clarifying that.
And we just zoned that. I don't remember what it was.
It's R1. It
Is
is
it?
R1, but we did,
Is it?
yes, but it did go before planning commission, because any new public institution is required to have planning commission approval, just like we did with the, on 4 Mile, Joe, you may remember, but it is zoned R1.
Mary Catherine, it's Mark. I got a question. Rezoning these to institutional, does it change setbacks, buffering requirements, any of that that's going to require any of this to be updated?
If they did an addition or something like that, we would have to look at it. But schools actually have their own section for some of those requirements. So it really, these are existing schools that are already here. It shouldn't, they're not going to have to go in and make any changes at this point now. If
Just
additions
real quick,
done,
change
but
things over. You
it
mentioned
shouldn't-
something about the
shouldn't be.
yeah, you mentioned something about the digital signs. What's the big difference between the signage that's there now versus potentially what could be put there? I mean, it's just
They're not allowed to have any digital now. Most of them, and Joe, you can speak to this better than me. I think most of them are just the manual board. Is that what they are?
Changeable copy boards.
Changeable copy.
And all the schools do have a monument sign.
Yes.
And a lot of schools would like to take the changeable copy part of that and remove it, put in a digital message center. And the district has funded that district-wide in some cases, mainly at the high schools right now. We're trying to play catch up and do some work at the middle schools right now this year. But so that would give everybody some consistency, and it also allows them to more effectively get messages out to the public and the parents that drive by or access the school. It's where everybody's going with this stuff. So the big change would be that piece of equipment.
Yeah.
Some cases the signs might be redesigned if they can't accommodate a digital board as it is now. And of course, anything that we do is going to come through you for a sign permit. So there will be another look at the sign to make sure it meets the requirements for size and setback and all that.
It's similar. A lot of the, or Georgetown Tech and Coastal are utilizing these also. So it's a lot of schools.
Conway High has one.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure South Conway does. I don't think they do.
I'm not sure.
And I guess the two that are sticking out to me is Conway Middle and Conway Elementary, just because they're in the middle of, the housing of the city of Conway, and one's actually considered to be part of the historical district.
Mm-hmm. And there are requirements in our ordinance, and I can't take credit for it. I didn't write it. It was before I came to the city, but there are maximum nits, and there are requirements for how bright and how large they can be, and that was all taken into consideration when the ordinance was written. But that is a valid concern.
And I will offer this to the committee as well, as when we go in and we'll be good neighbors when we do request a sign. And of course, we'll work with you, Mary Catherine, and the permitting to make sure we meet the requirements in a residential area, so that we're not creating a light nuisance to neighbors, and make sure it's done with quality, as well as a nod to making sure no one has problems at night with the lights and stuff. We can dim them. We can do things to make it to fit.
But that's very well put. Thank you. That answers my questions.
We're here to stay. We want to be good neighbors.
And the city has a great working relationship with the school district, so I have no doubt they'll do the right thing with their signage.
Okay. We've already talked about what the staff is saying here. So, you really don't have any other additions, Mary Catherine?
I don't.
Okay.
I like it because it brings it in line with our maps.
You're right. And on the map, we'll see exactly where the schools are, because and I even pulled it up today. You don't
Yeah.
see it.
You don't see them. And
Unless
Joe
you-
had a good point, those other schools are already zoned that way, so this makes sense.
Right. Well, it just brings it all kind of into being conform.
Right.
Any other, I mean, obviously, there's nothing from the public yet, but this will all go through the process as we've always done, and people will be able to have their input if there is any questions.
Right. I'm sure if we put signs up at these schools with rezonings, Alicia, prepare, the phones will be buzzing. So all of you will probably
my phone
might get
will
some
ring.
calls. Yeah, yours too, Joe. So you all will probably get questions about this.
Yes, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Any discussion from the board? Does anybody else have any other questions? Mark, that was a very good question you had there. Okay, I don't know if I can do this or not, but really B through F is all the same. It's the same request. It's changing the schools to institutional. I don't know if someone can make a motion to approve all of them at once, or we have to do them individually.
I think that'll be fun to do them all at once. We actually may do the ad going to council as one large request.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So I guess put it to the board. Does anybody have a motion to make?
This is David. I will make a motion to approve the rezoning request B through F on the agenda from City of Conway residential to institutional.
Thank you, David. We have a second?
Second.
Gloria,
Second.
second. Yep. All in favor? Find your thumbs up.
I had a thumb up. I don't have that. I haven't found that
The
feature.
reaction at the bottom, if you hit that, you can choose it. But
Yeah, I've done that before, but I didn't know where it was
there
tonight.
you go.
There you
got it.
go.
All right. Anybody opposed? Not hearing any opposed. There's no thumbs down. I don't know what to do there. So, okay, with that the motion passes. So that
Thank you.
that approved. You're very
Thanks,
welcome.
Jeff.
Thank you. And do we have anyone from the public online for any comments?
No, and we haven't received anything.
Okay. Okay, with that, I guess I'll call the meeting adjourned unless anybody has anything else they want to add today. Nope.
Everybody stay healthy, stay safe.
Yes, definitely stay healthy.
Happy New Year to you guys.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good
Happy
one.
New Year, everyone.
Happy
New Year.
Happy
Thank
New
you.
Year. Take care.